Welcome back to Mind Decoded, the channel where every mystery of the mind gets explained. Think about your morning routine for a second. You wake up, brush your teeth, make your tea or coffee, drive to work, and greet your friends with a simple good morning. For almost none of these actions did you consciously sit down and think through every step. Your brain simply did it for you. This raises a fascinating and slightly unsettling question that we are going to explore today. Is it possible that your subconscious mind, not your conscious mind, is actually running the show? Could it be controlling your habits, your decisions, your successes, and your failures, all without you ever noticing? If you believe that you are fully aware and in control of every choice you make, this video is about to change the way you see yourself, because science tells us that roughly 95% of your brain's activity happens at the subconscious level, while only about 5% is genuinely conscious. So who is really in charge, you or the invisible part of your mind that you never actually see working? In this video, we will walk through what the subconscious mind actually is, how it operates, how it silently controls so much of your life, and most importantly, how you can take back control of it. Stay until the end, because the insight we are about to share is something self-made millionaires, elite athletes, and highly successful people have understood and applied for decades, whether they knew the psychology behind it or not. Let's start with the basics and understand the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is the part that is active right now as you watch this video. It is the part that consciously thinks things through, whether you are deciding what to eat for lunch or whether to accept a new job offer. Your conscious mind is logical, it analyzes information, and it makes deliberate decisions, but its capacity is extremely limited. Research shows that the conscious mind can only actively process around 7 pieces of information at any given time, give or take 2. That is a remarkably small amount, considering everything your brain handles every single day. The subconscious mind, on the other hand, is running constantly in the background, 24 hours a day, without asking for your permission. It controls your heartbeat, your breathing, your habitual behaviors, your emotional reactions, and it stores your core beliefs and memories. Most importantly, it drives your automatic behaviors, the ones you perform without thinking. Studies from institutions like Harvard and Cornell University suggest that a person makes over 35,000 decisions every single day, and more than 95% of those decisions are generated by the subconscious mind rather than deliberate conscious thought. So when you feel like you made a decision entirely on your own, in most cases, your subconscious mind had already decided, and your conscious mind simply stepped in afterward to justify that decision. It sounds strange, but it is very well supported by psychological research. To understand how the subconscious mind actually functions, it helps to look at Sigmund Freud's iceberg theory of the human mind. Imagine an iceberg floating in the ocean. Only about 10% of it is visible above the waterline, and that visible portion represents your conscious mind. The remaining 90% sits hidden beneath the surface, and that massive hidden portion represents your subconscious and unconscious mind. When a ship collides with an iceberg, like the Titanic famously did, it is rarely the small visible tip that causes the disaster. It is the enormous hidden mass beneath the water. In the same way, many of the sudden problems that show up in our lives, relationship struggles, self-sabotage, lack of motivation, deep-seated fears around money, often have their roots in that hidden 90% that we never consciously see. So where does this hidden programming actually come from? This is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. Your subconscious mind is programmed most intensely between the ages of 0 and 7. During these early years, a child's brain operates mostly in what is called a theta brainwave state, which is similar to a light hypnotic state. In this state, a child absorbs everything around them without filtering or judging any of it. That means the words parents used, the atmosphere at home, the experiences repeated over and over, both positive and negative, all get stored directly into the subconscious mind with no filter whatsoever. This is why a child who repeatedly hears phrases like, money is hard to earn, we can never be rich, or you will never amount to anything, tends to internalize these statements as core beliefs. Years later, at 20, 30, or 40 years old, when that same person tries to achieve something significant, their subconscious mind automatically triggers self-sabotaging behavior because that old belief system is trying to pull them back into what it perceives as a familiar and safe zone. Now let's talk about exactly how the subconscious mind exerts control over your daily life, because this is where things get very practical. The first major way is through habits. A well-known study from Duke University found that more than 40% of the actions people take every day are habits rather than conscious decisions. When you pick up your phone first thing in the morning and immediately open social media, or when you reach for junk food under stress, or when you keep telling yourself you will start tomorrow, none of these are truly conscious choices. They are subconscious programming at work. A habit forms through a simple loop, a cue or trigger, followed by a routine or action, followed by a reward. Once this loop repeats often enough, the subconscious mind shifts it into automatic mode, similar to how driving a car eventually becomes something you do without consciously thinking about each gear change. The second major way the subconscious mind controls you is through your beliefs. Whatever beliefs are stored in your subconscious, whether it is, I am not good enough, people will judge me, or I do not deserve this, these beliefs quietly filter your perception, your decisions, and even the opportunities you notice in life. In neuroscience, this filtering mechanism is called the reticular activating system, or RAS. This is the part of your brain that decides which information, out of the millions of signals available at any moment, actually reaches your conscious awareness. A simple example makes this clear. When you start thinking about buying a new car, you suddenly begin noticing that exact model everywhere on the road. Those cars were always there, but your RAS was filtering them out before. The same thing happens with opportunities in life. If your subconscious belief is that good opportunities never come your way, your RAS will simply filter those opportunities out of your awareness, even if they are right in front of you. The third way the subconscious mind controls you is through your emotions. Every emotional reaction you have, anger, fear, jealousy, anxiety, originates from the subconscious mind. When something triggers you and you find yourself overreacting, that reaction is often connected to an unresolved emotional experience from your past that is already stored subconsciously. This is why we sometimes ask ourselves why we got so angry over something so small, and the honest answer is that it was never really about the small thing at all. It was about a much older subconscious trigger being activated. The fourth way is through self-talk. On average, a person generates somewhere between 6,000 and 60,000 thoughts per day, and a large portion of these thoughts tend to be repetitive and negative. When you repeatedly tell yourself things like, I cannot do this, I will never lose weight, or I am simply not capable, these words become direct commands to your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind does not judge whether a statement is true or false, helpful or harmful. Its only job is to execute. Whatever you repeat often enough, it accepts as fact and begins acting on accordingly. Let's look at some real-world examples and scientific evidence that bring all of this to life. Consider the placebo effect in medicine. Patients are sometimes given a sugar pill and told it is real medication, and remarkably, many of them actually begin to feel better, purely because their subconscious mind has already accepted that they are healing. This demonstrates that belief alone can produce measurable physical outcomes. Elite athletes offer another powerful example. Champions like Michael Phelps and Cristiano Ronaldo, along with countless Olympic-level competitors, rely heavily on mental visualization. Before a race or a match, They mentally rehearse every single detail of their performance repeatedly in their minds. Why does this work? Because research shows that the subconscious mind cannot fully distinguish between a real experience and a vividly imagined one. When you imagine something in detail, with genuine emotion, and repeat that visualization often, your subconscious mind begins treating it as something that has already happened, and it aligns your actions, your confidence, and your decisions accordingly. Self-made successful people tend to follow a similar pattern as well, whether or not they understand the underlying science. Many of them write down their goals daily, repeat positive affirmations, visualize their most successful version of themselves, and consciously interrupt negative self-talk whenever it arises. These are, in essence, tools for subconscious reprogramming, applied knowingly or unknowingly. At this point, you might be wondering, if 95% of our behavior is driven by the subconscious mind, are we essentially just puppets with no real control? The answer is no. Here lies the real power in all of this. Your conscious mind can act as the programmer of your subconscious mind. Just as software controls the behavior of hardware, focused and repeated conscious input can reprogram your subconscious over time. This process does not happen overnight, but it is both scientifically supported and practically achievable. Neuroscience refers to this capability as neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to form new neural pathways at any age. In simple terms, old programming can genuinely be replaced with new programming. So how exactly do you go about reprogramming your subconscious mind? This is the most important part of the entire video. The first tool is repetition through affirmations. Just as negative thoughts become beliefs through repetition, positive present tense affirmations become new beliefs when repeated consistently. Instead of saying things like, "I was never capable," try saying, "I am capable," or "I am improving every single day," or "I attract good opportunities." It is essential to use present tense language because the subconscious mind tends to interpret future tense statements as something that has not happened yet and can therefore be postponed indefinitely. The best times to practice this are right after waking up and right before falling asleep, because during these windows, the brain shifts into an alpha or theta brainwave state, which is far more receptive to subconscious reprogramming. The second tool is visualization. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each day imagining your ideal life as though you have already achieved it. Do not just picture the images, actually feel the emotions associated with that success. The more emotional intensity you bring into the visualization, the faster your subconscious mind begins to accept it as real. The third tool involves changing your environment. Your subconscious mind is shaped not only by your own thoughts, but also by the people, content, and atmosphere around you. Spend less time around consistently negative people. Be intentional about the content you consume on social media and elsewhere, and surround yourself with people who have a genuine growth mindset. The fourth tool is catching your negative self-talk in real time. Whenever a thought like "I cannot do this" or "this will never work" arises, consciously interrupt it and replace it immediately with something like "I am learning" or "I am improving with every attempt." This feels awkward and difficult at first, but through repetition, it eventually becomes a new automatic pattern of thinking. The fifth tool is a gratitude practice. Each night, write down 3 things you are genuinely grateful for. This simple habit gradually shifts your subconscious mind toward an abundance mindset, reducing the influence of scarcity and The sixth tool is meditation. Meditation moves your brain out of the busy beta state that dominates most of our waking hours and into the alpha or theta state, where direct communication with the subconscious mind becomes possible. Just 10 minutes of daily meditation can produce a noticeable difference within a month. The seventh tool is journaling. Writing down your thoughts, fears, and recurring patterns gives you genuine conscious awareness of what is happening beneath the surface. Awareness is always the first real step, toward meaningful change. Now, here is an important note specifically for the Mind Decoded family. This exact same subconscious programming is also at the core of addiction, or NESH, as we often refer to it. When the brain repeats a reward loop over and over, whether that is smoking, phone addiction, or any other form of dependency, it becomes a deeply embedded subconscious habit pattern in exactly the same way we have described throughout this video. If you want to understand the psychology of addiction on a deeper level, we have covered this in a dedicated video, or will be covering it very soon, so check the link in the description. Before we wrap up, an honest warning is necessary. Reprogramming your subconscious mind is not an overnight miracle, no matter what many self-help videos might suggest. Simply saying one affirmation is not going to transform your entire life instantly. Real change requires consistency, meaning small daily practice rather than one intense burst of effort. It requires patience, since it typically takes anywhere from 21 to 90 days of consistent practice for new neural pathways to genuinely take hold. And it requires real action, because thinking alone changes nothing without practical steps taken alongside that new mindset. Subconscious reprogramming is a powerful supportive tool, but it is never a replacement for genuine hard work. So let's return to the question we started with. Does your subconscious mind control you? Yes, to a significant extent it absolutely does. Your habits, your emotional reactions, your automatic decisions, and even your ability to notice opportunities are all heavily influenced by your subconscious mind. But there is another equally important truth here. You can also become the one who controls your subconscious mind. Once you understand that your old beliefs were never truly your choice, they were conditioning placed upon you, and once you begin consciously identifying and replacing those beliefs through repetition, visualization, and genuine awareness, you start installing new mental software of your own choosing. That is the moment real control begins. You can become the director of your own life, not merely a puppet responding to old invisible programming. If you found this video valuable, please take a moment to like it, and let us know in the comments how you think your subconscious mind has been influencing your own life. Subscribe to Mind Decoded and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video exploring the psychology of the mind and the nature of addiction. We will see you in the next video, where we decode another mystery of the human mind. Until then, remember to control your mind rather than letting it control you. Mind Decoded, where every mystery gets explained. Estimated runtime, 28 to 32 minutes depending on pacing. Recommended tone, educational and motivational, with deliberate dramatic pauses. Suggested visuals, iceberg animation, brain activity graphics, athlete training footage, meditation scenes, and habit loop diagrams. Background music, soft ambient or inspirational track, increasing slightly in intensity during the reprogramming section.